All right, we're going to move on to the next part of our vendor showcase, and we're going to be hearing from Field Routes. And we've got two speakers from Field Routes, Ryan Drury and Keith Brunch. I'll tell you a little bit about them. Ryan is the sales manager for the Field Routes Sales and Marketing Suite. He started his sales career 10 years ago as a business development intern. And he graduated from Arizona State University in 2018 with a Bachelor of Arts in Business and Sustainability. And in his spare time, he enjoys volunteering as a youth leader and fundraising events. And we're also going to hear from Keith Brunch. And for over a decade, Keith has helped turn business strategies and the customer needs into market-driven software solutions. He has a proven track record in software product development and project management. And he is as product manager at Field Routes. He works with internal departments and customers to identify new opportunities to improve their cloud-based field service solutions and ensure excellent end user experience. So I'm going to turn things over to Keith and Ryan. Keith and Ryan.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate the intro. Can we see my screen up? Is that good?
Yeah. Awesome. Yep, you're good to go.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, so today we're here to talk to you a little bit about our e-commerce solution here with Field Routes and an interesting new concept that we call the affiliate network. You know, e-commerce has been around for a really long time. It started off kind of in the dawn ages of the internet with really companies finding that consumers wanted to transact online for goods. eBay is probably most well known for starting the kind of e-commerce trend. They're a pretty large company. They're around a $3 billion company now. And then Amazon came on. As everybody knows, they're probably the biggest players in an e-commerce space for actual goods and something tangible. But then kind of in the early 2000s, Netflix came along and they're a service-based company, but they also offer e-commerce. They're a fairly large company, around $5 billion. So we see that e-commerce has been around for a long time, but it was traditionally around consumer goods, something tangible. But the services space has really taken off in recent years. And what really makes it important is that, you know, you take into account the consumer's purchasing behavior. What are consumers purchasing? How are they purchasing? How do they prefer to purchase their services? And if we look at kind of the total addressable market in pest control out there, it's a little over $18 billion is estimated in 2022. So there's a lot of opportunity to have an e-commerce solution and also grow your business that way. So we did some consumer research last year, and we went out to around 2,000 pest control customers, and we asked them a bunch of questions about, you know, how they prefer to purchase pest control services, would they be willing to be referred, and different questions. And we found that 44% of prospective customers, they perform an online search once they know that a need is identified. 88% of pest control purchasers say they're likely to buy services online in the future. And interestingly enough, when we asked them, you know, if you were on an e-commerce solution on a website and they couldn't help you, if they had any partners or local partners that could help you, how likely would you be able to purchase from them? And 86% said that they would actually be willing to purchase from somebody that they got referred to, which is kind of where the affiliate network piece kind of pops in. So, you know, kind of what does a affiliate network help you with? So it allows you to sell services directly from your website and your Google business profile. It also allows you to share online leads that are out of your service area when other operators can earn a finder's fee when the deal closes. And it also allows you to get new leads from other pest control companies who can't service those leads. So it kind of works on three basic steps. So when we look at all of our customers' websites at an aggregate level, we see around 30 to 45% of the traffic that comes to those websites is actually outside of the service area for that pest control operator. Right now, we also see that our customers are seeing about 100% increase in year over year in the number of online customers they receive through our e-commerce product. And then we've also kind of built this e-commerce product with the affiliate network to be super customizable, and you can actually build it inside of the Field Route software and then paste it on any type of website or landing page that you want. So we're actually going to hop into just a quick demo of the actual e-commerce widget. So this is just a test website that we have here made, and the actual e-commerce widget that's been configured is this box right here. Through our consumer research, we found a couple key indicators on why consumers would want to actually purchase online. And one of the biggest ones is they actually want to know that the problem that they have is going to be solved by the service that they purchase online. So this first step is really after targeting, what is the consumer's pest pain? This can be configured for your business. This is just a demo account, so we have some pretty crazy wildlife problems here as well. So the consumer, let's for instance say they had a problem with ants. They could click next. We're going to get the property address. So as they start typing in the property address, Google is going to use their API, and we're going to try to find the closest address to try to help them fill this out. If we can decrease the number of steps in each flow of an e-commerce funnel, we should get higher conversion rates. We asked them if the location is a commercial property or not. Most of our customers, they don't want to quote or sell any commercial deals online. That's more of a custom quote process. So if they say yes to commercial property and they give us their name, phone number, and email and their preferred method of contact, once they submit this, it'll actually fire a lead off into your field routes software that it lets you know that, hey, you have this commercial lead that just came through your website. And at that point, you can follow up with them. For this example, we're going to just go ahead and say no. I'm just going to put in my test information here. As soon as we get the property address, we're going to get the square footage. This is going to allow us to apply dynamic pricing. So if you wanted to charge an extra $20 for every 100 square feet over 1,000 square feet, we can do those calculations for you. And they also want to know that you're customizing a solution that's based on their needs. So we'll offer them, a plan that this is completely customizable into what you want to name your plan, what's included in the plan. This can be totally customizable for each plan, but we tell them, based on your selections, this is what we recommend. You told us you had a problem with ants. This is what we can solve with them. You can do all your own custom pricing here. You can do discounts as well if you want. One of the big things that we found through the consumer research as well is that a sense of reliability and trust is really huge with consumers. One way to convey that online is we actually look at your active customer database and we see how many active customers you have that are in the same location as this consumer who's trying to check out. If it's 10 or more, we're going to display that right here and say proudly servicing, X amount of your neighbors. For this example, it's 55. Again, this is just a way to try to raise up that sense of reliability and trust that, hey, we're already in your neighborhood. We've tackled issues before with exact consumers like you. So it should be a no-brainer to check out. But if they don't like this pricing or they want to see more options, we do offer a good, better, and best package plan that can be, again, completely configured to what you want your pricing to be and what you want your features to be. We have a lot of pest control companies that use this to really try to drive an upsell into rodent control or into a seasonal mosquito service as well. Again, the whole idea is to try to get that lifetime value of that customer up as high as possible. But they can just select buy now. And so they actually are going to be able to read into your scheduling. And you can basically make routes available to this online product or not. So you can have complete control over what route availability you do show up. And we do have an algorithm that takes into account where this consumer's address is. And we only show stops available that would be optimized for that routing. But we show the consumer their initial quote, any discounts, the reoccurring charge, agreement length, the tax, and the total due today. The total due today would be the initial quote minus any initial discount plus the tax. On the reserve a date and time screen, we can show actual arrival time windows in minutes or hour blocks, or we can do just an AM and a PM. We show the next available up top where the user can simply quickly click on it and get checked out. But we also do allow them to come down here to this calendar and choose maybe a more date and time that would work for them. And then we just get the billing information here. Oops, we need to get a date there. So when they click next, we just confirm everything for them again. So this is their service program, the billing address, the service address. the date and time of the arrival window. We also allow you to custom put any type of terms of agreement here. If you have a 12-year agreement or 24-month agreement, something like that, whatever you put in here, when they check this off right here, it's a digital signature. And that contract, as soon as we click schedule service here, will be signed. The consumer will get an email with the service notification and the contract, signed contract, and then we'll actually sync that back into the Field Routes portal as well. So everything's set up for you. You have the customer's credit card information. They've already been scheduled for their initial appointment, and you're kind of off to the races there. So that's really kind of the main e-commerce solution. But the interesting piece is that one where we kind of mentioned earlier that 30 to 45% of consumers, once they type in an address right here, is going to be outside of this service area. So, this is my made up pest control company here, Cumberland Pest Control. So if I type in an address right here that I know Cumberland can't service, so we'll just do Dover Lane here in Richland Hills, Texas. I'll put my same information in here. We're going to get the square footage, and then we're going to go out and customize that solution based on the consumer's needs. And if we find that Cumberland Pest Control can't service this customer, we have other network providers that can actually service them. So we'll show them, hey, Baxter Pest Control has a plan that can solve your needs that you can check out with. So we'll click the view offer here, and then now we're checking out on Baxter Pest Control. It's the same exact flow, but it's actually all about getting the consumer to a pest control provider who can actually service them and help their needs. And so it works two ways. If you're a part of the affiliate network, you can send your out of service area leads to other pest control companies, and they can send leads to you as well. So it's kind of a two-way street there. Do you want to add anything to this, Ryan?
Yeah, I wanted to see what's going to happen as if I was a company, say I wasn't Baxter, but I was Cumberland. What's going to happen when I have a client who looks at my website, does a bunch of research, and then they abandon that shopping cart? Have we seen a lot of results in what the next steps would be for that type of prospect?
Yeah, that's a really, really great question there. So whenever, just pretty much in any good e-commerce software, whenever they start this step and we get their actual their information here, if they stop the process, so let's say, I'm here purchasing pest control, I get to this step and, I'm just really looking for pricing, right? I get to this step and I see this pricing, I look at there and I'm like, you know what, I don't feel like I'm ready. If I completely close this window out right now, we're actually still going to take that lead information and we're going to sync it back into your Field Routes operational suite platform with an alert that says, hey, this potential customer, Keith Bunch, was just trying to purchase a pest control service from you. These are their pest pains, and they abandoned the e-commerce solution. So you actually can do kind of lead scoring, and you can follow up with those abandonment customers in a more proactive way, because they've kind of already told you kind of what their issues are, and you can see which step that they abandoned the flow. And through our beta program so far, we've had really good success. I know one customer that, from February 1st to March 15th, they actually got 32 abandonment leads synced into their operational suite. And so far they were able to close and win 6 of them. And that added another $4,500 in ARR to their business. Whereas before, those leads, probably never would have even gotten to that business because, there was no e-commerce solution available and there was no abandonment kind of concept of leads. So, we do a lot on the marketing suite side here with trying to get your lead number up and then give you the tools to convert them at a higher rate. That's kind of what we're all about. So, we've always done phone leads and we've always done website form leads. This is now a third avenue where you can get a third, kind of medium of leads that come into your business. And we're seeing about somewhere between a 20 to 30% uptake in the number of leads whenever you're in the affiliate network versus out of it.
Yeah, and I think it's super important that you brought that up, Keith, because for a lot of the guys that are on this call, they're sitting here saying, hey, well, door knocking's worked. these other avenues have worked to help me grow my business. But if we get into the details, we see there's a lot of cleaning up we can do, specifically around increasing the conversion on leads where people are interested. And this is an awesome way. And I think just off cuff, having the abandonment tool allows you to really monetize that traffic to your website. Even if they don't want to pull the trigger, saying, hey, maybe they're apprehensive, they're just doing research. We now have the best use of resources internally to put people to task, to call them, follow up with them, have some type of cadence to outreach on a warm lead versus somebody who just got door knocked or whatever. They've actually done research and they've come to your brand or they've seen you online and now they're interested and we're able to follow up with them. And really, even if it's not provide service, give them more information, because I know a lot of the time people are like, I like talking to people on the phone because I can answer their questions. I can give them that professional input and really be a trusted advisor for them.
Yeah, I think you make a really good point too. It's about not leaving a heavily qualified lead, on the table. If it's a consumer purchasing behavior is super interesting, but just the ability to have packaging and pricing with your features and collecting, what type of pest pain points that consumer is having, even if they don't complete the checkout, the fact that you can gather that kind of preliminary information from them and it sinks in as a lead with all that, it just gives your customer success staff or your sales staff just another kind of talking point that, hey, we understand your problem. We fix these same type of problems. We're in your neighborhood. And it becomes kind of just like that kind of full customer lifecycle journey that gets completed with it. I did want to kind of show too, we also offer a reporting feature. We do know that even the topic of, hey, I'm going to send out of service leads to someone else can be kind of a daunting, kind of scary little feeling.
I was going to bring that up.
Nobody wants to send leads somewhere that, that those could be actually their customers. So the most important thing that we do kind of in the Field Routes marketing suite too is any type of product that we have where we're driving leads to you, we want to kind of back that up with numbers and show you exactly what's happening. So it's not just kind of that old standard, business model of, a black box of marketing that you just throw money into and you have no idea what it's doing for you or how it's performing. So we have basically a dashboard that you can log into for the marketing suite and a new network tab that's going to allow you to do different date ranges and compare date ranges. But it's going to tell you how many leads you've gotten from the network. It's going to tell you how many customers, the revenue that was associated with those, and then the total annual reoccurring revenue that came from those customers. You're also going to be able to see all the names, the dates that those customers came to you, which site they came from, and then the individual breakdown of their revenue and ARR. And if for some reason, you think that, hey, this is actually one of my existing customers, or you want to try to challenge this if you don't think that you received them through the network, we're actually going to allow you to submit an inquiry to us for this exact network customer. And then you can select a few different reasons here and then just type out some comments, and we'll have our staff kind of look into it, make sure that it was correctly attributed from the correct source or not. And then down on the referral section, so when you give customers to the network, we'll show you that number and we'll show you the amount of credit that you're going to get for giving those customers to the network. You're also going to be able to see which customers or leads you gave to the network, and you'll see their location here. This is, again, just like a quick search. Like if I have a pest control company in Anaheim, California, and I come in here and I see network referrals and I see that I'm sending a bunch of people from Texas that came to my website to another provider, I'm going to be okay with that. But if I came here and I saw, wait a second, there's, Anaheim, California, I think I can service that customer. That would be, not a very good scenario, but that's why we want to provide kind of that visibility into, what you're receiving from the network and what you're giving to the network as far as lead sharing.
Nice. And I do want to pause, and I'm sure there's different questions or people saying, hey, I'm not ready for this as a business owner, but every other industry is doing this. Affiliate marketing is not something new to us or even new to the internet. I mean, every blog, every podcast you listen to, all they do all day long is affiliate market solutions that are tied to that captive audience. And what we're doing over here at Field Routes is just saying, hey, we have a captive audience where 30-40% of that audience can't get service because they just are on the site that has the right information for them, answers that question. But the company itself isn't able to service them. And so we're saying we have to provide a solution to them so that they, even if they come to the site that they're not able to pull the trigger and actually get a service for them, they're able to get that solution in place. And so we want to build trust between all of the people that are using our products and our services. But this is just something that's existing on the internet space. It's out there. It's live. It'd be really exciting for you guys to come talk to us about it if you want to learn a little bit more. And right now, Keith, we're in beta right now, so it's free to come on board and be part of this exciting change in the space. And our contact information is here at the bottom. We'll provide it at the end of our presentation. But just reach out to us, guys. We'd love to walk you through this a little bit more and see how it can work for your company.
Yeah, I think those are really good points. And, I think, e-commerce is slowly gaining pretty heavy momentum here in our industry. Again, I don't think anybody is going to sit here and tell you, it's bigger than the, phone right now. But when we really kind of dig into the data and we look at those consumer buying trends, it's very interesting. I mean, I had some initial assumptions that most of the majority of folks who purchase pest control is just because they have a pest emergency, right? But really, when we looked at the data, it was more 50-50 of proactive purchasers versus reactive purchasers. And we just see when we do that consumer research that, consumers want to be able to go online. They want to find a provider that can solve their problems, and they want to see transparency in pricing without having to pick up the phone and call. So at the bare minimum, this allows you to keep your business open 24/7, and it can allow people to schedule their initial services. But it also provides the consumer with much more information that they need to make a decision. And you're going to get that lead. So even if they do abandon after they see your pricing, you're going to be able to follow up with them. You're going to be able to know that they, bailed out on the pricing screen. And maybe at that point, you can offer them a small discount or kind of work them a different way. Share this. I think that's kind of all that we had, though, Brad, if we have any questions.
Yeah, Keith and Ryan, we did receive a few questions here. And actually, before we jump into the questions, just give our listeners, our participants, a heads up. You can, to sign up for a free demo from Field Routes, click on the link in the chat box. So in the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen, there's a link there where you can sign up for a free demo. So guys, a couple questions that did come in. The first one is, would there be an option that the quote could be emailed to the customer rather than being displayed on the screen at the time? So that way you could avoid competing pest control companies price checking?
Yeah, that's a good point. We've had some customers talk to us about concerns around people just going out, competitors looking at their pricing, and just trying to drive that dollar to the bottom. For commercial leads, we definitely do the email feature. We're in beta right now, and we're looking at bounce rates on steps. We're looking at pricing transparency, and we're really after what's in the best interest of that C2, what we call the consumer, and the transparency to them so far in the data outweighs the protection of competitors looking at pricing.
Another question that came in was, how do I migrate over from a current pest control software?
Yeah, so we can definitely get you in contact with somebody from our operational suite. We make it pretty easy. We have a lot of different imports that we have if you're with a different provider right now. So we can kind of make that process seamless for you. But yeah, even if you fill out the link for the free demo for the affiliate network product, if you have any questions around that, we can get you in touch with the right people. But we do try to make it as seamlessly as possible. Our implementation team and our support team are huge, get rave reviews. So we try to make that process as easy as possible.
Question was, what are the most important factors that PCOs should consider when choosing an e-commerce platform?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is you have to always think about the consumer, right? If it's just something as simple as showing pricing and they send you an email, that's great. But that's the same thing as just putting like a form on your website that they can fill out. And then now, they're just sitting around and waiting to be contacted. So if you have the ability to schedule for them to do a full checkout that's completely integrated with your, whatever operational software you're using, that's not only a value add for you, but it's a huge value add for that consumer as well. And then also, you really need to be able to track the performance of the e-commerce. We call it the funnel. So when you start at step 1, step 2, and you go all the way through to checkout, you really need to have the ability to dig in deep to that and see where are consumers bailing out of the process. If they're bailing out on the pricing screen by 80%, then we might want to look at the pricing and see if we maybe want to run a little test and lower that pricing a little bit. Or maybe there's some issues, with the scheduling screen, and they don't like that they can't get a certain schedule. We need to be able to have that feedback loop so that you can go in there, make some small tests, and then kind of change that whole flow a little bit to try to make that conversion rate a little bit higher.
And then the last question we have for you, it was, what are the credits worth when I am giving reference to the network, and who will pay for that?
Yep. So kind of like with everything we do at Field Routes, we really have the motto of we grow as you grow. So it's a per sale or per lead kind of fee model. So if you give a lead or a sale to the network, whatever we charge for that, you're going to get a credit. You're going to get a percentage of that. So, these are just hypothetical numbers, but say, a network provider got a customer, like a $900 customer. If we charged, these are hypotheticals, these aren't set in stone, but if we charge $50 for that, we would give, a chunk of that, half of that, or a third of that back to the originating website who generated that lead or that customer. And those credits would go against any fees that you incurred from getting leads or getting customers from the network.
All right. Well, Keith and Ryan, that's all we had as far as questions, but thanks for your presentation today.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Brad.